We're tracking the setup for a potential snowstorm next weekend that could hinder some of your Valentine's Day plans. Now, don't go canceling any plans just yet. This is just a signal for now, but I want to go through a brief forecast discussion of what I'm seeing from a meteorological perspective so that you can plan out your next week in terms of weather conditions. So let's get things going here. I'm student meteorologist Felipe Formica, a third-year student at Penn State. Right now, we're looking at our upper-level air patterns, seeing a anomalously large ridge across areas of the western United States and a very deep trough across the eastern United States. That's been locking in cold air to the northeast. And in fact, we're going to see potentially the coldest air mass of the season diving into the eastern United States throughout the next 24 to 48 hours, with wind chill values in the northeast potentially as low as 40 below zero. So be sure to bundle up out there Saturday, February 7th and Sunday, February 8th, as it is going to be extremely cold and frostbite is very likely with these conditions. So any exposed skin is at risk. But as we go throughout this next week, we're going to see this pattern start to break down and become more of what we call a zonal flow, where instead of the jet stream being very wavy, we're going to see it be a little bit straighter. And that allows for more storm systems to move through this pattern quicker. So we're going to be tracking really 3 chances for storms over the next 10-day period here. The first of which is going to be this little ripple right in here. You can see here just to the west of Texas and northern Mexico there. That's going to quickly slide across, honestly, within 48 hours from the Intermountain West all the way off the East Coast. So this 10th to the 12th time frame is our first time frame to watch for a storm system, probably going to be a weaker one, but a stronger potential for a snow event across areas of the eastern United States is going to be next weekend. This one I think has a little bit more upper level support with a ridge here in the western United States and a trough here in the eastern United States. That's going to allow for a potentially stronger low pressure system. And as even we go into the President's Day week, I think we'll see another storm system materialize here the 16th through the 18th as well. Again, very weak storm system there, but that one, I think we're a little bit too far out in time to really get a good grasp at how strong or weak this storm system will be, because these two different jet streams here, you have the northern branch and the southern branch of the jet stream, will be teaming up for the last 2 of those storm events. And usually when both jet streams team up, that's when we get stronger storm systems. So this is something that I will be watching over the next 10 days here, but a little bit too early to call on that one. We can even see this as we step from the jet stream level down to the mid levels of the atmosphere here at the 500 millibar level. We see this brief disturbance down here in Baja California, a cutoff low pressure system that does take a little while to get through areas of the desert Southwest and eventually start to traverse the country, but very quick hitting once it does. Once it gets sucked up by the jet stream pattern, that zonal flow that allows for these storm systems to move across the country very quickly, it will do so. And this is another trough here starting to dig in Thursday across areas of the western United States. That also moves through fairly quick, and that is our next real weather maker that I think will see a consistent snowfall across areas of the northern United States from this, and that is for the weekend, next weekend. So February 14th and February 15th is the time frame that I'm looking at right now for a potential snowmaker across the northern United States and the Great Lakes and Northeast regions. That's something to watch right now. And then our next little ripple here in the mid-level jet stream will be the 17th into the 18th. And if we do see this tight of a gradient between our strong ridge and a strong trough, we could see a very strong low pressure system here just based on pure dynamics. But again, we're about 10 to 12 days out from this, so a little bit less confidence in this storm system here, but something to watch over the next week for sure. So here's our vorticity map. This is areas of relatively higher spin in the atmosphere, and we like to look at this because obviously we want to see where any rising air will be, and downstream of these vort maxes, as we call them, vorticity maximums, are areas that are supporting rising motion. So we do see this one vort max here associated with this cutoff low pressure system that moves across the country during that February 10th to 12th time frame, and it does weaken as it moves eastward, but our first real shot of a weather maker here throughout the second full week of February. Then our second piece of energy starts to move in here from the Pacific and the desert Southwest, and then moves into the eastern United States. And this is where both branches of the jet stream and these two pieces of energy phase together, and when they do, that creates a much stronger potential for a low pressure system. And that's why the European model has been kind of on this persistent pattern of trying to place a stronger low pressure system off the East Coast Saturday and Sunday of next week, so Valentine's Day weekend. Then after that moves off the coast, we're going to see another round of some stronger, higher vorticity values moving into the central United States, and that is the potential for that next weather maker as well. We can see this quickly on our 700 millibar relative humidity map. This is a very early estimate of where we'll see cloud cover. You can see that first system, the 10th through the 12th, generating a pretty broad cloud field, and that's our first chance for a weather maker. Then this is a very easy signal here of a nor'easter pattern. This comma head shape is very typical of a strong nor'easter moving up the East Coast. So that's something to watch. And then, of course, our next system there, the European model is trying to put a blizzard in the northern plains, but again, too far out to really get any sort of solid signal yet, but that is something to watch. Now, this weekend, here is our 850 millibar temperature anomaly, and it's showing temperatures potentially 20 degrees Celsius below average, and then that's about 35 degrees Fahrenheit below average. So 30 to 35 degrees Fahrenheit below average across areas of the Northeast. It's going to be windy. It's going to be cold. Bundle up for sure. Then a brief warm-up. And Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in the Northeast, after we've seen teens and 20s for the last couple of weeks, is going to feel quite balmy, even if we don't get above freezing in many spots. But a brief bout of relief, and then we see this next weather maker move in Friday, the 13th into the 14th and 15th, bringing in maybe another round of some colder air, but then that's going to be quickly overwhelmed by this next ridge that we could see right after the storm system. So if we do see snow, it's probably not going to last as long as our previous major snowstorm. So this all comes down to, this is our European model from earlier today, showing multiple rounds of moisture in the Pacific Northwest and the northern branch of the jet stream, showing these quick moving low pressure systems across the country. Here's this first system, the 10th through the 12th. Potentially could be a snowmaker. I would be watching out for the potential for mixed precipitation across the Northeast as well. Then here's our next system over Valentine's Day weekend. This is again showing a classic nor'easter setup. And then we'll see another system potentially in the early part of the following week. So something to watch there. I do want to pop over here and take a look at our potentials. This is the probability of picking up over an inch of snow. And again, since we're about 8 to 10 days out, already having a 40% chance of picking up over an inch of snow in many of these areas of the Northeast, and this is for that Valentine's Day timeframe, is quite high and something that we'll be watching over the next week for sure. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this meteorological breakdown, what I'm seeing in terms of our weather pattern right now. Comment in the comment section down below. Do you think we will see a snowstorm on the East Coast next weekend? Let me know. Make sure to follow here for more weather updates. I will be continuing to track this system as we go throughout the week. Well, I hope you all have a great weekend. Stay warm, stay safe, and I'll see you guys again very soon. Peace.